Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Succession's Jeremy Strong is returning to Broadway alongside soprano star Michael Imperioli in a brand new revival of Ibsen's An Enemy of the People. It will run for 16 weeks at Circle Lima Square with a beautiful new translation by Amy Herzog, directed by her husband Sam Gold. And we're here at the Edition Hotel for the show's press conference moderated by Tony Kushner.
How did this production come about? What drew you to the play? When did you start thinking about doing Enemy of the People?
Well, the honest answer is that the director approached me, Sam Gold. He had, because I was working on A Doll's House and I had all of these books about Ibsen, biographies, books of all his plays lying around because I was doing a kind of deep dive. And I think I should, I'm sorry that I'm taking your story, but since we're married, I think I own half of it. So at some point, Sam picked up one of the volumes of plays and read An Enemy of the People and immediately thought of Jeremy, who's a dear old friend and collaborator of both of ours, and spoke to Jeremy about doing it. And he told me this, and I said, "Do you have a translator in mind?" And he said, "Would you like to translate it?" And I'm going to admit right now that I actually didn't know the play very well before then. There are a lot of Ibsen plays that were so important to me growing up, but this one was kind of a new discovery.
To be honest, returning to the stage was not something sort of on my radar. It's been a long time since I've done a play. The last play was a little over 10 years ago and was Amy's play, The Great God Pan.
That was the last time.
That was the last time, which feels like
we met.
That's when we met.
Yeah. Backstage and stalked you after that.
And you know, I've known Amy since 1997 in college. I've known Sam since 2001, I think. So there was always a hope that we would find something to do together. But I read the play that day. I read the Miller translation, and it really struck me like a bolt of lightning. The play, the sense of I've heard it described as a man confronting the necessity of action at the same time as the impossibility of action. And I thought that was an incredible dilemma and engine of a play. The last play I did on Broadway, the only play I did on Broadway, was A Man for All Seasons. And, you know, similarly, a play about sort of speaking truth to power. And I was so moved by the, as Sam says, the sort of allegory of the play, this idea of a man discovering that the water system that is feeding the health spa of the town, but in a sense, the wellspring of life, the moral, ethical, spiritual wellspring of life is poisoned. And you see the powers that be in the town have they have a vested interest in protecting the status quo and in economic interest, and reading the play, it just ricocheted across every single thing that we're living through and confronting, from the court of public opinion to the climate crisis, which really struck me when I read the play. This idea of an ineluctable fact, someone presenting an objective, empirical fact pointing to the destruction of a town and seeing the powers that be ostracize that man.
I think it's more timely now than it was probably since it was written, in a strange way. I mean, Miller kind of leaned into the McCarthyism and that aspect of what was very pressing and important at the time, but it really seems to hold much more weight now than it did back then. Yeah, and I mean, I've admired Jeremy's work for a long time, so you know, the idea of working with him was very exciting and thrilling.
Same.
What I love the most about Sam's productions are the visual look of them. What will this show look like?
It's a period production, so we're really getting very detail-oriented about Norway in 1882. It's going to play at Circle in the Square, completely in the round. I really love working in the round. I do it whenever someone lets me. I love putting the audience that close to the actors and in different relationships to the actors. There isn't one way exactly to see it. It's a lot. There's something very live and almost improvisational about the way the evening can work in the round, because everyone has a slightly different experience and you sort of can't control it. So it'll be like the audience is looking through the candlelit windows of a beautiful home in 1880s Norway and getting to sit very close to the dining room table of a family and colleagues who are having a really important political debate that is going to destroy Thomas and potentially, sicken or kill people in the town. It's a really great space to that theater in the round. The only time I've worked there was on Fun Home, and obviously that was a really it was a really good feeling to be in the building, to feel the audience's energy, and I'm really excited to be back there.
I have to say also, just on a personal note, when they did when the late great Phil Hoffman and John C. Reilly did True West there, I was still in college, but I went to see it 5 or 6 times, and sat in the back row, and I still to this day remember the feeling of the lights going down and the anticipation and the flutter of programs, and a great wish of mine to one day get to be an actor and get to do a play maybe here. So it's a real fulfillment to be working there.